Hello and a very warm welcome to the maiden edition of the program CAC Weekly, a weekly program that keeps you abreast on the activities and achievements of the Corporate Affairs Commission. My name is Amina Jibril. Our focus today is overview of the Commission, and we will be back after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Established in 1990 by the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA 1990, and amended in 2004, the Corporate Affairs Commission is set up to regulate the formation and management of companies in Nigeria. Its vision is to be a world-class company registry, providing excellent registration and regulatory services, while its mission is providing registration and regulatory services that meet the expectations of stakeholders for the benefit of the economy. The Commission has 1,289 staff strength and offices located in the 36 states of the Federation, with Abuja and Lagos having 2 each. A parastatal under the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, the Corporate Affairs Commission has a 9-member board under the current chairmanship of Ademola Seriki, who was appointed by President Muhammadu Buhari on 7th January 2020, along with the current Registrar General and CEO of the Commission, Alhaji Garba Abubakar, who is in charge of the day-to-day running of the Commission. Members of the board are drawn from government agencies and professional bodies, which include the Nigerian Bar Association, Securities and Exchange Commission, Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, Nigerian Association of Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, the Federal Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, the Federal Ministry of Finance, and the Federal Ministry of Justice. In keeping with its mission to be a world-class companies registry, the CAC, under the leadership of Alhaji Garba Abubakar, the Registrar General and CEO, shortly upon assumption of office on 9th January 2020, introduced far-reaching reform initiatives. The Commission's recent embrace of electronic process for registration has not only simplified the process, but greatly reduced the hitherto human interface in the process, especially in the COVID-19 pandemic era. The CAC's ultimate target is to ensure an end-to-end registration service by reducing registration to just 2 hours. An important milestone recorded recently by the Commission is the enactment of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA 2020, which was signed into law on 7th August 2020 by President Muhammadu Buhari. The CAMA 2020 no doubt has tremendous potentials to change the Nigerian business environment as well as increase transparency. Similarly, the ongoing reform initiatives being championed by Alhaji Garba Abubakar are also geared towards providing enabling business environments and guarantee transparency in order to attract more foreign direct investment into the country. CAC Weekly sought reactions from some Nigerians.
It's still a work in progress. I mean, it's new, it's innovative, and trying to implement an online system would take a while, but I think there's a lot of progress being made by the current regime.
Currently, the reforms undergoing by the Corporate Affairs Commission is really needed. In fact, at this point in time, it's something that will really help in business practice in Nigeria and as well as in the world entirely. We need some reforms to be done. Currently, part of the reforms they are undergoing has really been helpful, although we practitioners are still seeking for more reforms to be done.
In this interview with Medina Azaki, the RG gave an insight on the workings of the Commission, its revenue target, and the plan for deployment of end-to-end technology to achieve seamless registration services, among others.
Alhaji Garba Abubakar, Registrar General, Corporate Affairs Commission. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
We do know that the Commission was set up to regulate the formation and management, of companies in Nigeria. But as the man at the helm of affairs and one who has spent close to 2 decades, talk us through what exactly the Commission does.
You've said it all. Our key function is to register companies, business names, and incorporated trustees. I recently limited partnerships and limited liability partnerships. We maintain records of these entities as well, and the law has even given us the power to investigate the affairs of any company, business name, incorporated trustee, limited partnership, or limited liability partnership, where the interests of the public so demands. So this is our key role, and this is what we are set up to do. But typical of statutory corporations, we do other things outside these key objectives. We support government in its various developmental drives by way of easing the climate for doing business in Nigeria. We also collaborate with other agencies, particularly anti-corruption agencies, to support the various initiatives of the government against corruption.
I do understand that the reform started way back 2005. Now, over 2 decades after, what are the most outstanding reforms for you as far as this commission is concerned, and what has their impact been so far?
Okay, the most outstanding reform is actually the use of technology. I actually joined in 2004, but before that time, certificates were manually typed. Every information was manually kept. The only semblance of technology at that time was when they were doing name search and reservation. Other aspects of the registration process, 100% were manually done. In 2004, the Commission introduced the use of electronic workflows for registration services, from name reservation to certificate generation. That system allowed customers, when they submit the documents, officers of the Commission will do the data entry, approval will be done electronically, and certificates will be printed, and the customer will now come and pick his certificate. At that time, there was no electronic payment system. So customers still had to go and pay at the bank. They submit stamp duty. They also have to pay stamp duty. They will take the documents to the stamp duty office. The documents will be stamped, and they are now presented to CAC for registration. That continued until 2014, when a new software was introduced that enabled customers to pay for transactions electronically. Customers now have an account on the registration portal. Using that account, they can file their applications. They do their data entry themselves. So we now dispense with data entry in-house. Customers will enter all the information. They will scan and upload the documents to us. We will approve. The payments will be made electronically. And because stamp duty interface was still independent of the application, customer will still go to stamp duty, pay for the stamp duty. The documents will be stamped before they submit to us. In 2017, there was an integration with stamp duty. So the stamping of the documents is now being done electronically. When you pay the registration fee, using the same portal, you will now pay the stamp duty. The stamp duties will be paid, and everything is now in one-stop place, in one-stop shop. You use the same platform to do everything, and certificate will be sent to you. Sorry, you come and pick your certificate after registration. Then earlier this year, we now added a new feature to the application that enables customers to receive their tax identification numbers. So we have further integration with the Federal Revenue Service. Immediately, the registration is approved. Our system will now talk to the FIRS system, and a tax identification number will be issued for the company. We'll put it on the certificate, and the customer will collect the certificate with the tax identification numbers. In between 2014 and 2017, a lot of reforms were introduced. We consolidated the registration forms. Hitherto, while registering a company, one has to fill about 4 to 5 different forms, and on each form you pay a separate amount for certified true copy. So these forms were collapsed into CAC 1.1, and the mandatory requirement that a legal practitioner must deposit a declaration that the requirement of the law has been complied with was also relaxed. So officers of the Commission from that time, as part of the ease of doing business reform, have been signing these documents on behalf of these customers. So all you need to do, if you are applying directly not through a lawyer. All you need to do is to pay the 500 naira notarization fee. Our officers will sign the declaration. We've engaged some notaries. We pay them as they notarize. So that has actually eased the burden for customers that decide to come directly, because we have a direct registration window, all in an attempt to ease the business climate and as part of the ease of the business reform. If you are doing your registration directly, the mandatory requirement for statutory declaration is waived. You pay the 500 naira. So this has actually brought down the cost of registration significantly.
So what is the cost of registration today?
If you are registering a company with 1 million share capital, you are paying 15,000 naira to CAC. 10,000 naira for the registration of share capital up to 1 million, and 5,000 naira for certified true copies of the memorandum and articles, and the CAC 1.1. So the stamp duty is in the region of about 8,000 naira. So all in all, you are paying 23,000 naira.
Okay, for a limited liability.
For a limited liability company, while business name is 12,000. So you pay 12,000 for incorporated trustee is 37,000 naira. But all this money is when we are doing it directly.
The 24 hours registration, the online registration, where are we today? Can we register in 2 hours? Can we collect our certificates in 1 day?
Well, with a semi-automated system, this is not possible. We are looking at 2 hours target. By the time we deploy an end-to-end electronic solution by the middle of December this year, when we are launching the new Companies and the implementation of the new Companies and Allied Matters Act. At present, we had a lot of challenges because of COVID, where we had to work, in some cases, with less than 15% of our workforce when the restriction was first announced. After the government relaxed the restriction, only level 14 officers and above were allowed to come to the office. And that number was less than 25% of our workforce. So it's only recently that the government now eased everything and everybody can come to work. So what we are doing now is you get your certificate within 24 hours. If you register today, provided all the information required have been provided and all the necessary columns have been filled and signed, within 24 hours you get your results. So, but if there are queries to the application, the 24 hours will begin to count from the date you resolve this query. Although our service timeline actually provides for 48 hours or 72 hours registration, but we'll actually register in 24 hours. So depending on whether the applicant has completed all the requirements, has complied with all the requirements.
We also do understand that today your certificate comes automatically with the TIN number. And then we also do understand that you can file your tax returns through the CAC. Is that correct?
No. You can't file tax returns through the CAC. What we have is we have application program interface with the FIRS such that before any tax identification, before any tax clearance certificate is issued, they will validate the information about your company from our portal. But you can't get tax clearance through the CAC. You must go to FIRS directly. The only thing is, as I've said, they will validate your information. So if your information is not up to date with the CAC, they may not issue that tax clearance. So people have to know that it's not just enough to make tax returns. They also have an obligation to file annual returns with the CAC.
Okay. How much of an impact has technology had on your work so far, so good?
Well, that has been our driving force. Without technology, we wouldn't have been where we are. Because if you go to our website today, on a click of your button, you can know whether a company is registered in Nigeria, the name of the company, the address of the company, the date of registration, and the place of and the registration number. Without technology, you won't be able to do this. And with COVID, it has taught us a new thing, that the way the world is moving is technology. So moving forward, we have provided necessary tools to our staff. We provided laptops to most of our approving officers. They can approve from anywhere. We've given them data. They can approve from anywhere. And in the long run, as I said, moving forward, we won't even be issuing paper certificate or paper certified true copies. Everything we are going to issue to customers will be done electronically, end to end. The customer has the option to print or store it in his device. So you can achieve that without technology. So it has been our main driver. All the successes recorded so far have been as a result of the use of technology. But technology is something that you have to continually improve on. You cannot afford to be static. If you are static, then you won't be able to achieve anything. So the current application is being upgraded. We are releasing the second version, hopefully by the middle of December. Initially, we thought we could do that by the end of October or early November, but because the process of gazetting of the new law took some time, we only received a copy of the gazette from the clerk to the National Assembly, and the regulations that we have actually drafted to guide the implementation of this new law, we've already finished receiving input from stakeholders. So we are going to review these inputs. Those we consider germane, we'll reflect them, then we'll approach the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment for approval. When he approves, then the implementation will start hopefully by the middle of December. And you cannot effectively implement this law without technology. You can imagine a law that has 870 provisions dealing with 5 legal entity types. A typical example, even on name. If somebody applies for a name without technology, how are you going to determine whether names are similar? There has to be an enabling platform that will do a query, an automatic search, and bring out the names that are similar. Because and one thing with our law is the criteria for even determining similarity is not just limited to the way the name looks. It also includes the way the name sounds. So if names are crafted with the word C or K, they may have some bearing. If somebody is registering a name like Credit Bureau Limited, he may use K or C. So if you only look at the letter C, you may not be able to determine similarity. So it's only technology that will help you do this. Another way we intend to use the technology is to show the status of these companies at a glance. We intend to have a status column, not just on public search, but also when anybody is accessing information about any entity, that will tell you whether that company is active, whether it is dormant, whether that company is under receivership or is under liquidation or is under any form of arrangement, so that in your dealing with the company or before you decide whether to deal with that company, you will have an informed idea about the current standing of that company. And that will help for business decisions. And the basic information will continue to be available free of charge. If you need further information, if any member of the public needs further information as to details of who the directors are, the encumbrances against the company, the names of the shareholders or their addresses, then a fee has to be paid for that. Because we are categorizing the kind of information we're providing. Whether you need historical information, whether you need just information about the shareholding, whether you need information about encumbrances only, or you need information about the officers. So depending on what you require, because people have their own different needs. So if you say pay for everything, that may be too expensive. So you categorize. But if you need the entire information, then the fee will be different. These are fees that have not yet been approved, so I wouldn't want to disclose. Then we'll also want to create a VIP window. As you know, customers are no longer allowed to come here, but we recognize the fact that there are transactions that may be of extreme urgency that cannot wait. Such category of customers will be given access to walk into CAC upon payment of the fee. Even the appointment to come, they have to pay for the appointment. This is the global standard. Then when they come, we'll have a VIP room where they can wait, their application will be processed, and they get the results same day.
As regards the ease of doing business, it did say that Nigeria's ranking jumped from 146 to 131, representing its second highest annual progress of 11.45% in a decade. That's like an endorsement of your reforms, is it?
The truth is, this is one of the most improved. I don't want to say CAC is one of the most improved government agencies. We have continuously improved. We've never been static. We have always been looking at our processes and requirements and improving them continuously. And in line with some of the best standards, because whatever you are going to do today cannot be Nobel. Other registries have done it. You have registries that are number 1, number 2, number 3 globally. All you need to do is to look at what they are doing, how did they get there. So we've been doing that. And the only thing that made them to achieve what they achieved is actually technology. So, and we intend to use technology to even get to the first number 10. As we have rightly observed, ease of doing business is not just about CAC, but CAC has helped to contribute to the ranking, to the new ranking, and will continue to do that. But starting a business in itself does not start and end with CAC.
As a revenue-generating agency, how much do you generate for the federal government on a yearly basis?
Well, I don't know whether we generate for the federal government. You need to look at how the law is. What the law provides is the income, sources of income of the commission. The first part says subvention from the federal government. And the second part says the monies that we realize from our operations. Although the Fiscal Responsibility Act has mentioned us as one of the revenue generating agencies, but registries globally, they usually operate on cost recovery basis. Just they charge enough to cover their costs. But we recognize that government needs money, government needs revenue to support its various developmental drive. And we've been supporting government. We've had challenges in the past. We couldn't meet our revenue target in 2019. In fact, we entered 2020 with outstanding liabilities of almost 5 billion naira. But thank God, from current year's operation, we've been able to clear all these liabilities, except for a few. So we were trying to see if we can clear all the outstanding liabilities. We've met all our obligations to date in terms of our service providers, in terms of our pension, in terms of taxes. When I took over in January, we had outstanding pension contributions for 2017, 2018, and 2019 that have not been paid at all. We have tax liabilities for 2 years, 2018 and 2019, that have not been paid. But as we speak, we've cleared all the tax liabilities. On pension, we have paid 2017, 2018, and part of 2019. And for 2020, we are up to date. We have remitted all the pension contributions. We have paid our taxes up to date. So for us, you have to operate efficiently. For the first time in the last 5 to 6 years, we are going to realize or even exceed our revenue target for the first time. Despite all the challenges of COVID, we had a projected revenue for this year of 18 billion naira. We are likely going to close the year with over 19 billion naira in revenue. So we've been prudent. We don't spend money recklessly. We try to manage these resources. Only things that are necessary have been done.
And finally, for a lot of people, 1 billion naira or 2 billion naira, isn't that too small to remit to the federal government that has huge deficit when it comes to revenue?
No, but you have to know that CAC is an agency that has 37 offices. We have 2 offices in Lagos. We have an office in every state. In fact, 38 offices. We have 2 offices in Abuja. You have to maintain these offices. The cost of electricity has gone up. Cost of fuel has gone up. You have to service your vehicles. You have to fuel these vehicles. You have to buy power to be able to render efficient services. If you see the monthly bills, you have to engage cleaners, security to man these offices, and you have to pay staff. So if you add all this, the cost of operation is huge. And some of these offices are actually purpose-built by the commission, but majority of the offices are rented offices, and the cost of rent keeps rising. So if you add the total cost of operation, and we are required to be efficient, you can't talk about ease of doing business if you spend half of the day without electricity, without being able to power your computers to do the work. So we need to operate in an efficient manner. But in doing that, we'll be prudent in the management of these resources so that we'll have enough surplus to pay to government.
Many thanks indeed for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
And that is the size of our package for this week. We do hope you enjoyed watching. For comments, questions and inquiries, use our social media handles.
On Twitter, it is at CAC Nigeria 1. On Instagram and Facebook, it is Corporate Affairs Commission. Our email is cservice@cac.gov.ng. Our website is cac.gov.ng. And for our helplines, call the numbers 081 822 99016 or 081 822 98971. You can also reach us on 090-874-01-598 or 090-874-01-599 and 090-874-01-600.
Do join us next week for another interesting edition of the program. Same time, same station. From me, Amina Jibril, and the whole team here, it is bye for now.